Welcome back to DRM News Global, listeners. We've got kind of a whirlwind of reports to untangle today, all about actress Sydney Sweeney and some very recent things happening in her personal life.
It's a lot to take through for
Mm.
sure. You sent over a whole bunch of articles, and they all seem to be saying some pretty big things are going on.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to try to make sense of it all, piece by piece, lay it all out for everyone. We'll look at what's being said about her calling off her wedding, see if we can trace a timeline of the relationship based on these reports. Oh, and of course, we have to talk about the whole social media side of things, especially this photo shoot everyone's talking about. Hopefully, by the end, we'll have a clear picture for you.
Sounds good. Where should we start?
Well, the first thing that jumps out from pretty much every source is the news that Sydney Sweeney has apparently called off her wedding to her fiancé, Jonathan Davino.
Right, right. Big news.
Yeah, but here's the thing. While the news itself is out there, the why of it all is still a bit murky. We're seeing these mentions of major relationship struggles, career tensions, just this general relationship strain being thrown around as possible reasons. But it's kind of vague.
And that's super important to remember. It's all based on reports, likely from sources, but we aren't hearing it directly from Sydney or Jonathan.
Exactly. That's a key point for our listeners.
They're reporting on the big development, the wedding being called off, but suggesting reasons, potential reasons from what they're hearing. We don't have those straight from the source confirmations yet, like statements or interviews explaining why.
Right. So even though these reports seem pretty consistent, it's all still kind of in that allegedly zone for now, at least.
Exactly. We only know what we know.
Okay, so let's think back a bit. The engagement to Jonathan Davino, that was confirmed publicly, what, March 2022?
That's right, March of 22.
But their relationship goes back further, right?
Yeah, way further.
Reports say they were already dating for around 4 years before the engagement even happened, so that's...
A solid chunk of time.
Yeah, pretty long history there.
It wasn't a quick fling that suddenly became, oh, we're engaged. They'd already been together for a good while, years even, before that next step. So assuming these struggles or whatever are real, something must have changed, or at least something big enough to change how they felt about things.
And that's what makes it so interesting, right? Because, toward the end of last year, Sydney Sweeney did an interview, I think it was in December, and she was actually talking about Davino.
Oh, yeah. What did she say?
Well, she called him her best friend, said they'd been in this, quote, steady relationship for a really long time.
Interesting.
And she even emphasized how important it was for her to keep some things private, to have that part of her life separate from the whole public eye thing that comes with her career.
That makes total sense, though, right? Being a high-profile actress like she is, privacy must feel super valuable.
Totally.
Especially if some of these career-related tensions are true. Maybe trying to keep their relationship out of the spotlight was a way to protect it.
Yeah, maybe. It makes you wonder if, that same spotlight ended up making things harder for them in some way.
It's definitely a possibility.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting and where social media kind of throws a wrench into things. Lots of people are buzzing about Sydney's Instagram, specifically this New Year's Eve photo she had up, the one with her and Davino. Apparently, it's gone.
Gone. Like, deleted.
Yeah, seems like it. People started noticing around Monday, March 24th, poof, no more picture.
That's juicy.
And of course, people are reading into it. I mean, it makes sense, right? When it comes to celebrities and relationships, everyone analyzes every little thing they do online.
Especially when it's something like deleting a photo.
Mm-hmm.
Not just any photo, but a New Year's Eve photo with your supposed fiancé, right when breakup rumors are swirling. It's like textbook adding fuel to the fire.
Exactly. Makes you wonder how much of what we see online is deliberate. Are these actions meant to send a message, or is it just us overthinking things?
Probably a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure what any one thing means without knowing the whole story, right?
Right. But then there's more. Some reports are also claiming Sydney's been staying at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And get this, alone.
Oh, wow.
Now, look, we don't know this for sure. It could be totally innocent, right? There are a million reasons why someone might be staying in a hotel solo. But when you put it together with the whole wedding being called off and the photo disappearing and...
Yeah, it starts to paint a certain picture.
Exactly. Even if it's all speculation at this point.
It's like all these puzzle pieces that kind of fit together, Maybe not the whole puzzle, but enough to see where it might be going.
Right. Okay, so... shifting gears a bit, let's talk about some of the things Sydney's been doing more publicly. On Friday, March 28th, She posts this series of photos on Instagram. Looks like a beach photo shoot, and they're pretty amazing.
I saw those. Pretty glamorous.
Yeah, and the outfit, oh my goodness. She's wearing this vintage Christian Dior mini dress, pink and white, designed by John Galliano.
That dress is incredible. Like, seriously high fashion.
Right, it's a real statement piece, this, what is it, like pinup style logo dress
Right.
with an off-the-shoulder cut.
And it's vintage Dior, which, let's be real, adds a whole other level of wow factor. Plus, some sources are saying it's worth a fortune, like it sold for almost $9,000 before.
Whoa. Yeah, that's a lot of dress.
Yeah, it's not just any beach photo shoot outfit. It's carefully chosen, curated, all of that. Especially with it being vintage Galliano, the whole thing just screams intentional high fashion vibes.
Right, and it's not just the dress, it's the whole look. She's got this beautiful wavy hair, she's barefoot on the beach, even rocking a matching bucket hat in one photo. And then there's this clip on her Instagram story where she's actually wading into the water in this like super fancy dress.
Oh, I have to see that. Bold move.
It is, but here's the thing. No engagement ring in any of those pictures.
Ah, there it is. That's the detail everyone's picking up on.
Yeah, and it makes sense, especially with everything else that's going on. I mean, it could just be a styling choice for the shoot, but it's hard not to see it as symbolic, right?
Absolutely, especially with those breakup reports looming in the background.
And the whole vibe of the shoot, right? Glamorous, confident, carefree, whatever you want to call it. It all hits differently when you think about what might be happening in her personal life.
Definitely. It adds another layer of intrigue, like what is she trying to say? Or maybe she's not trying to say anything specific, and it's just us reading into it.
Right, right. It's
Yeah.
hard to know for sure. But just a day before this whole Dior glam moment, she posts something completely different. There's a photo and this short video of her just chilling by the pool in a bikini, sunglasses on, listening to Chris Isaak's Wicked Game.
Oh, I think I saw that one. Wasn't that from a trip with friends or something?
Yeah, seems like it was from a girls' trip to Africa. She'd shared some other pics from that same trip, like from a hot air balloon ride in Tanzania and some safari pictures.
Right, right. I remember those. This was wild, was the caption, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting, right? We've got these potential relationship troubles brewing, but at the same time, she's off on this adventure with friends.
It's like two completely different worlds colliding.
It is, and I think that's kind of the point, right? It shows how complex it all is. Here's this super public figure dealing with what seems like some pretty big personal stuff, all while still living this very visible, glamorous life. Weddings off, maybe, staying in hotels solo, who knows? But then, bam, gorgeous photo shoots, vacation vibes. It's a lot.
It is a lot. And it really makes you think about the whole idea of public image versus reality. I mean, social media is like this weird echo chamber where everyone analyzes every little thing. A deleted photo here, a missing ring there.
Right. And then on the flip side, it's also the place where people, especially celebrities, can control what they want to show. They can present this perfect, curated version of their lives, even if things behind the scenes are totally different.
Exactly. It's a performance, in a way.
It is. And for Sydney Sweeney, it's especially interesting. Like, she's been very vocal about wanting to keep some things private, but her career, her whole life is so public.
Yeah, it's a constant balancing act, I imagine. Trying to have a personal life when everything you do is under a microscope.
Totally. So I guess the big question is, how do we as viewers, as consumers of all this information, how do we navigate that? How do we reconcile the public image with the reality, especially when the reality is probably a lot messier and more complicated than what we see online?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's easy to get caught up in the speculation and the gossip, but at the end of the day, we're only seeing a fraction of the story. And we have to remember that, right? There's a whole person behind those Instagram posts with real feelings and real struggles, just like all of us.
Absolutely. Something to think about for sure.
It is. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Like how much of what we see online is real and how much is just performance?
Yeah.
And how do we, as viewers, make sense of it all? Big questions, and ones we'll probably be grappling with for a long time to come. Thanks for joining us on DRM News Global. Until next time, keep those critical thinking caps on.
Absolutely. See y'all next time.